Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for stopping by today to have a chat with Julie. And today it's to use or be used. That's the question. That's the question. So, I decided to talk about this because of some experiences I've had. Because there's some people in my life I think are just takers, and there are some people who probably would view me as a taker more than a giver. Although I should hope it's not a long list, maybe a very small list, if a list does exist. But the reality is that at some points in our lives, we all have either been used or we have used others. That's the reality. On either end, some more often than not. Sometimes it's a matter of circumstances, it's a matter of where we find ourselves in life at the time. It could be numerous reasons, but sometimes it's not intentional. Other times it is. And it is especially the intentional part that I want to focus on. And of course a little bit on the unintentional. So, if you're a person who have used others, right? You've used others, or you're in a situation now, or in a position now where you know that you're using other people, especially willfully using other people. I just wanted to say to really, really think about it. Think about what it is that you do. We have to think about how we treat other people and how we ourselves would like to be treated. Sometimes the people that we use are closest to us, and that's because they love us the most, and they want to please us, they want us to be happy, they want everything to go right for us. And when we say, come here, go there, go over there, give me this or that, I want that, they acquiesce, they try to please us, and so we often just continue doing that time after time. So if it is that or sometimes we don't even realize that we are doing it, but it's good to take stock every now and again. Just think about the people in our lives, and to think about how it is that we treat them, whether it's our spouse or best friend or children, how we treat these people, and how it is that we expect them to be there to serve us continually, and how we take that for granted. So it's good to take stock sometimes, evaluate our relationship, look at how we use the people who are closest to us, the people in our circles, and also the people outside our circles. The friend that would, because I know of this happening also, you'll have a group of friends who go out, and you'll have one particular person who's somewhat like the person who's always just grabbing and this gimme way about them, and they'll see a dress or something that they want or they think they should have, and they'll say, oh, I don't have any money. And that somebody else in the group, they'll know that there's a particular person in the group who would, even though they themselves don't really have it, would go the extra mile to ensure that they have that dress. They'll say, oh, I want it, but I don't have the money. And they'll say it 10 and 15 times, until the person said, okay, I'll buy it for you, and things like that. So even we might take things like that as like, oh, that's no big deal. Well, it is, because you don't know how it's impacting on the other person. So, and we know if we really sit and evaluate our relationship, we can identify areas in which we use people, and especially people who are closest to us. But also, we might use people who are not closest to us. But it doesn't matter whether they are inside of our circle or not. If you know within yourself that you're taking someone else for granted and using them in ways that you yourself would not like to be used or would not like to be treated, then maybe it's time to reevaluate, take stock, and look at ways at changing, look at ways of treating them differently, look at ways of helping them to feel more appreciated, there could be circumstances, or well, there are circumstances sometimes when we ourselves get used. We let ourselves be used by our husbands or partners or children, or best friend or boss. The list can go on and on. And we never say stop or say, what about me? What about me? You don't have to say directly, what about me, to the person. But every now and again, you have to say, what about me, to yourself. What about you? How are you being satisfied? Do you feel that you're being taken for granted? The people around you are being taken for granted? What about the boss who waits until it's 5 minutes before work ends, and he brings a stock of paper on your desk? Oh, I really need this tomorrow. Can you ensure that it gets done? And things like that, So it is, as I say, it's a two-way thing. Sometimes we use people, sometimes we ourselves get used by other people. But I think in all circumstances, it's always good to put yourself, when you're the user, to try to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And if you're being used, it's time to take stock. It's time to take stock. Try to value yourself, value your time, and say, okay, this is enough. Because sometimes we get used because we don't set parameters. We don't set parameters as to what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, what we will take or what we will deal with and what we will not deal with. And I'm not saying that in all circumstances it has to be a strict rule, or it has to be, strictly down the line, because there are times when we might sway a little bit depending on the circumstances as it calls for that. But yes, how do we deal with this? In the case where we think that we're using someone, just stop, look at the circumstances, look at how it is that we think we are using them, and what changes we could make, to benefit that person, or to make that person not feel or not think that they're being used. Right? Put yourself in the other person's shoes. And I know that is probably opens a lot of it might not always go the way we want, but make a first attempt. at least try. At least try. At the end of the day, you could say, you know what? This is the situation that exists. This is the situation that I believe exists. And these are the steps that I took in order to address this situation. So, I will not go on any longer, but like I said, you know, to use or to be used, we all have been on both sides. We have used and we've been used. But in all circumstances, take a look at where you are, take a look at your relationships, take a look at how you treat others, and keep in mind that in this world, you don't treat others any worse than you would like to be treated yourself. You don't treat others any worse than you would like to be treated. And you don't let others walk all over you. Sometimes, because I have let people walk over me too, so I'm not being judgmental here, and it's always a work in progress. But start today, start taking steps, taking charge, and setting the parameters that you need in your life. So this is it for now. Thank you for stopping by to have a chat with Julie. So ta-ta. See you again. Bye.